playing sort of casual blitz, just to pass the time, unlike his opponent Raunak. And you see that impressive collection of trophies just above his head there. And that reminds me of one of the most important things of Gukesh's career in my mind, which is that Gukesh has won a huge number of events. He's a player who has, relatively speaking, like played down more often than playing up. He hasn't like pushed himself to go into the higher section. He hasn't gotten a lot of early invitations before he peaked. And so this is somebody who's gone around on the open circuit, crushing tournament after tournament after tournament. He is very familiar with winning the grand prize.
Absolutely. And we got to say, Gukesh, we do have a slight bias towards Gukesh. He was on the California Unicorns Pro Chess League team, which we managed. So we saw him play. We rooted for him. Not that we don't love Raunak, who is an incredibly strong player in his own right, but I feel like we have to throw that out there. We have seen Gukesh in action quite a bit.
Yeah, there could be some bias on the show. I mean, full disclosure, I know Kostya personally as well, so I'm biased in favor of my commentator.
Likewise.
But let's turn the page and check out the bio of Raunak Sadhwani, a player who I've been following since he joined the Pro Chess League as a talented international master under the moniker Chess Champ 2005. Probably his birth year, or who is birth year. And very, very important here, everybody understands the first line here. 2021 JSCC runner-up, meaning he played in the same finals that we're about to see 2 years ago against another Indian teenage prodigy, Nihal Sarin, who himself is, blitz and bullet demon and perhaps addict. And other accolades, he is the 2022 Abu Dhabi Blitz winner, which is another big, powerful Blitz event. The Chess Olympic bronze medalist, mentioned playing on the same team as Gukesh. And that was the B team for India. One of the most sensational stories, the most sensational story of 2022 was these two teenage teams, India B and Uzbekistan, racing for first place in a classical control chess Olympiad. He has all the great powerhouses of the world. And he's also fourth place Indian chess grandmaster. So what do you think of Raunak's chances and what he brings to this match?
Raunak is an absolute beast when it comes to online chess. We can see him there. I think we've gotten word that he's actually in his hotel room in Dubai playing upcoming open events. And literally, I saw he was bobbing a bit, maybe listening to some music. I think he's ready to put up a big fight. He's definitely, I feel like, more experienced than Gukesh in terms of playing lots and lots of online chess, especially like fast time controls, 5+1, 3+1, 1+1. I imagine his mouse skills are maybe a little bit better than Gukesh. But okay, it's all going to be a very exciting and close match. Looks like we've got a Smarter Chess prediction coming up, so we can compare these two players with numbers.
Yeah, and you can compare them with your own predictions and chat's predictions. Well, the first thing you notice is this rating difference, right, Kostya? That Gukesh, despite being 100 points higher in classical chess, is here 100 points lower in his blitz rating, but Smart Chess has taken it all into consideration and sees Gukesh as a 1-point favorite, which would mean that 4 hours now the match would be a nail biter in its last game. So he's taken Gukesh's offline power into consideration and thinks Gukesh should pull away at 1 point during the 3-in-1 segment. And what was your take on this prediction?
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, we can see Smarter Chess there with a mathematical prediction that this match is going to be incredibly exciting and close. I think we could trust him on that. Both these two are fighters, and the match is going to be starting very, very soon. But let's quickly take a look at the format. We're going to have 3 different time controls for the match. First, we have 90 minutes of 5 minutes plus 1 games, and then 6 minutes of 3+1 as many games as they can get in before the timer runs out, and finally finishing up with 30 minutes of bullet 1 plus 1 second per move. It's not classical, it's not 1 plus 0, it's 3 plus 0. These guys get the 1 second minute, which definitely changes things. And as the match is about to get started, you see Raunak there looking very ready.
Yeah, that 1 second is enough. The end situation, you've got king and pawn against king and queen. You're not going to flank the queen. The queen's eventually going to win the game, so there will be that degree of sort of rational outcomes. And one other note about the match format as the first moves are hitting the board here is that once a game starts, it counts. Versus when the timer runs out for the second, when 90 minutes runs out or the 60 minutes runs out, you still get to finish whatever game you start, even if you just played e4.
That's right. And first game is underway. Looks like we have an Italian game. It's just like a classic beginner's Italian. Like, who is playing the first event? Knight C3, Knight C6.
Yeah, it's appropriate because the Junior Chess Championship is sponsored by Chess Kid, and if you logged into Chess Kid right now, you could find 10,000 games in this current position, which I would call like the kid variation of the Italian game. So what a way to kick off the match.
Yeah, absolutely. Them paying tribute to the openings we all played at kids, where both sides, I remember, you just try to get the bishop to d5 first, you go for the knight d5. Whoever gets this first wins the game. That's always how it works out for me. I don't know if you have the same experience, but
yeah, it can be dangerous sometimes to castle before playing either h3 or h6, right? And then I think when kids go over 1,000, they have learned that you can go king h1, and even if pawns get doubled, you play rook d1, you don't lose the game. And it's still sort of an interesting position.
Exactly. It's not the end of the world, even if you get the double pawns in front of your king. But definitely something to avoid. I feel like we're going to see that very, very well in this match. It's a very practical game. It's like you just don't want to have your king open the floor for no reason. Okay, now both sides have castle. They all spend time before they castle. I feel like these days you always have to actually your high level. You have to like double check, make sure you're not like castling into some kind of fierce attack. But there's bishop g5.
There comes the fierce attack.
Immediately Raunak allows the doubling of of pawn. And this is interesting. Our human intuition would say this is not good. And we saw a question mark there. It doesn't like it either. Oh yeah, I would not want to allow this in.
This is a famous maneuver from another semi opening the 4 knights. And it's a way of breaking that pin as you play knight 7. And if they don't take, you can go knight g6 and h6, and the bishop on g5 runs out of runway without you having to commit h6 and g5 as well. And if you do take away, the knight e7 covers the key weak square on f5. So, I mean, if you didn't tell me the engine build is a mistake, I would have thought, it's reasonable. Totally reasonable.
No, I know. I mean, it might be effectively sound like maybe it's playable for black, but I just feel like for blitz, I mean, okay, Raunak, he's like 500 points from me, right? What am I going to right? But you're saying I think it's, in terms of the practicality of the decision, I just feel like, these positions are always one step away from just getting just immediately losing position. And it's very tough to play only 3 minutes on your clock. It's not a lot of time to come up with the best moves. Like in classical chess, if you have a difficult position, you can spend 20 minutes and calculate everything and try to figure it out. In blitz, like you have to play intuitively. And if the right move isn't intuitive, that's going to be very, very hard to find. But Gukesh, I love what he's doing at h4, king h1. I feel like this is super simple. Maybe he wants to go f4 at some point. Open up the rook, queen coming to h5. And I don't know. I think that's good for white.
Yeah, what you said about instinct and intuition, like I definitely think that one's instinct and intuition for these positions should be to get kings off g5. So king h1, king h8, knight h4, fighting over f5. All these moves I think were the intuitive or instinctive move for players who have some experience playing the g takes f6 positions. But we notice the players spend 20 seconds on every move anyway, right? So it's like a slightly slow pace or blitz. And I think they're calculating a bunch of non-intuitive moves as well. They're not playing just purely by hand. They're both huge calculators, and they're looking at little details that are sailing past us right and left.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the things that's maybe typical about the new generation of juniors. They're all just insane calculators, just machines. They just calculate everything, looking at concrete lines. They don't discard moves just because they look bad or they look ugly. They want to objectively analyze the position and just be concrete as they possibly can, which makes them very, very strong. I mean, that's one of the most important things in chess is just having really good and clear calculation. But I think another thing that's important is having like the feeling, like being able to play with your hand, so to speak.
So bishop to b4, this is the first move in the game so far that surprises me, Costa. Yeah. I think Raunak was sort of playing around, going to play d5 while you need a pawn with the knight and block out that bishop on c4, cover the light swords even better. This bishop b4 move is a little bit surprising because my first thought would be that the knight on c4 just dance towards the king side and your bishop is like wandering.
Like maybe 2, right? Yeah, that'd be my first thought. And the bishop just looks completely straight on the queen's side, and you can bring the knight to like g3, h5, g7. Look at all these weaknesses. A lot of squares for the knights.
Yeah, and you're going all the way within one square of the king. Yeah.
And I think 92 was white, and Raunak has gone d5. Let's get back to the white position. So d5 was the response. That makes a lot of sense, striking back in the center before white has a chance to just set up a completely winning attack. Bishop drops back, and now rook g8, and 2 minutes to go. So it's essentially like a 3-minute blitz game now that they're playing, with the relatively slow opening. But g3, this is a very interesting move.
To me, that was the first really difficult choice in games between you want your knight to go to the g3 and h5, like you mentioned, but you also don't want your opponents on g6 going to f4 and h4 and opening up rook. So he finally chooses to play g3, and I think he had played knight g3 then after knight f4. Maybe that cuts his knight off from h5 anyway, and his knight just being stuck on g3 defending the g2 pawn for a while. Maybe he felt like he'd be stuck there.
Might have been kind of unpleasant here for white.
Here's a move you have to calculate, leaving f6 undefended.
And now knight e7 on the board.
c3, bishop c5 is okay. My sort of tactical sense is just
one. He's got rook g6, right? So don't quite. Yeah, you're right. Like 6 is hanging, so it feels like maybe there's something there. But 90 seconds for Gukesh.
Right.
And man, this is going to get sharp. I mean, this is like such a complicated position about to go into a blitz game. They're just going to be relying on this 1 second increments. Okay, how do you deal? So he just drops back. He doesn't want to trade the knight off just yet. I can definitely understand the decision. And he hit f6. And now this one hanging with check. Rook g6 defending.
Yeah. And Kostya, I was thinking about this move for white, c3, with the idea of countering in the center with d4 at some point. Gukesh is never going to play because he's noticed if he ever plays c3, just d takes e4. But that's like a pivotal thing that it would definitely miss in a blitz game.
Yeah. Now, queen g2 was supposed to be a little passive. Or the queen gets out of the de for exactly probably the reason you're saying, right? Maybe he wants to go c3. Now the queen's like 9. So the computer maybe didn't understand that move, but we did.
Yeah, as soon as I active queen, Raunak moved the bishop off of c5, so you can't hit c4 with c3 with tempo into d4.
Yeah, exactly. So we got some logic. Okay, now queen comes back to f3. I think demonstrated why queen on g2 was a big problem. Bishop h3 was just going to be a super annoying threat there to win the exchange. So kind of mistake goes back, but okay, now it's actually looking much better for black because one of a lot of times he's got e5 in. The f5 square seems to be under extremely strong control. This is no longer like even a real weakness. As soon as I puts knight there, he's just rubbing it in. He's like, I'm going to f5.
Wow, feeling confident. And after 30 seconds on the clock in clearly at least equal positions, white with queen g2, queen f3, not doing anything. And Raunak decides to go very aggressive here in the very first game. Put some pressure on the top seed.
Well, now you got the 2 bishops. You feel like your opponent just wasted several tempi with their pieces. So yeah, why not take over the center? No, now it looks extremely double-edged. e4 is coming at any moment. Yep, there we go. And where's this queen going?
That's important. If he'd been forced to trade his e pawn on d4 there, it would have isolated all 3 remaining central pawns, right? The d pawn and the f pawns would have all just been trash. Instead, that's a strong center with e4. All light pawn, and he's got the only dark square bishop to cover the holes that arise. And I have 10
seconds left. Okay, he found a solid square for his knights. I think this is very important for the upcoming scramble. You just need solid squares for your pieces at this point.
Queen needs squares too.
Yeah, there might have been some rook g5 there. This queen is very much in danger of just getting caught. But 15 seconds for both players. So many pieces still on the board. Oh my god, this is going to get violent fast. Knight g6 and h5. Oh, here we go. Raunak just going for it. He's giving the exchange.
Doesn't take it.
He wants the other one. What is happening?
Now he could run f3, but
he doesn't even hit knight. He hits the other one.
It is
second for Raunak. Yeah, moves are coming in fast, and he sacks on g3.
Play queen e5 and then e3, attacking the king.
Man. This is still incredibly
2
sharp.
seconds left for Raunak. Oh my lord!
I didn't know they were getting the moves off the time.
Yeah.
Now rook g6.
Oh,
rook g1. Knight g2.
Give me the square. Is it going to be repetition there on the G flag?
Bishop F8. He got Bishop F8. That's it. He trapped the queen with 2 seconds on the clock. What a fight. Holy smokes.
Oof. Good start for Raunak.
Very good start. What a game. He solved like a 3,500 level puzzle with like 3 seconds on his clock. It was like a bullet scramble.
It looked like he was also winning on the board at the end, right? Okay, Gukesh flagged, but because Raunak trapped the queen.
Yeah, exactly. Queen had no moves.
Okay.
Queen had the entire 6th rank, and it was all covered.
Yeah. Outrageous. Raunak was pretty calm after all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, just game 1. Yeah, it's Monday night, warming up.
Yeah. Do you think it's an advantage to be calm when you're playing chess?
That's a great question. I think it depends. I think a lot of players, they get to kind of rush. Once they get one, they get hot and they win a lot of games. I generally feel like it's probably better to keep your cool as much as you can. Try to stay objective. Because everyone knows once you're not seconds on your clock and the nerves, they can drive you crazy. You stop seeing the board correctly. You just start hallucinating. The mind freezes up, right? It's a very stressful situation when you're just down to the second. That's one of the most amazing things about these players. Not the fact they're not like flagging these sharp positions, the fact that they're playing like really strong and competent moves on basically seconds, literal seconds. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I feel like the calmer you are, and I definitely feel like Magnus stays very, very calm. Generally, the more it helps you in these fast time controls.
Yeah, I'm definitely not calm, but I've never been certain how big of a disadvantage was it. But okay, Kostya thinks maybe something that I could try the other way. I could try being a different person.
You could try.
See how it goes. If I just all calm about everything. And okay, the position we've got, it's started as symmetrical English, turned into kind of a scheme C in the Indian where the knight gets stuck on A5, black plays A6, B5 to make use of it. Cozy, you play a lot of King's Indian as black. I don't think you play the Fianchetto lines as white very often, but you recognize the position pretty well.
Yeah, I'd say like there's a couple of general things we can say about the structure. So like number one, white has a lot more space thanks to this D5 pawn, which is definitely cramping black's pieces, especially the bishop on B7, especially the knight on B5. So Gukesh is playing B5 this kind of thematic pawn break because he's trying to open up his pieces.
Right.
And golden rule of these positions when you have the space advantage is that if black can trade out like mine piece or two, then generally black is considered to be kind of fine. If not, if white can keep all the minor pieces on the board, then black is definitely going to struggle. Especially again, knight on A5 looks really, really bad now that the queen side is closed up, basically not doing anything. Bishop can always reroute itself like via C8. That's pretty easy. But this knight on A5, we see this in the really
this game and this match, but it was basic like me as a master watching it. I was like, oh, he crushed him because he had this idea that the knight on A5 was undefended, right? So when black plays B5 at move,
I'll just go back.
Yeah,
I know you're talking.
You know what I'm talking about. It was so important when black plays B5, putting pressure on C4. If there's pressure on C4, black can open the B file. The G7 bishop coordinates it with the knight on A5 has a job, etc. Right? But he was planning. He hits the knight on A5 by retreating his knight. Not knight E4, as Kostya said. Knight E4 I looked at. But Kostya says trading pieces would make Black's task a little less difficult.
Yeah. Kostya says don't trade pieces when you have more space, okay?
Yeah. So he hits the knight, and then he hits it again, and basically the knight can't retreat. He forces Black to play b4, quote unquote, grabbing space, but what it's doing is taking the pressure off of c4, keeping the center closed so that White can then eventually unwind and squish him. So that was a really sick sequence. When he hit him with that, I was like, oh, Raunak is like, you know, he's got it.
Honestly, bishop c3 is like a double exclam move. It's a brilliant move because you're literally like walking into like a free tempo for the opponent, which most players are kind of taught not to do, but it completely changes the strategic nature of the position. And now Black is just a huge strategic nature. Like I'm absolutely, I think that was kind of a huge moment in this game. And now he's just like, got the space. Going through the moves, we're going to catch up to the game here. Rook a1, queen c2, and Raunak, he's just building up the pressure. But Gukesh, he's looking for counterplay. He got his knight back. That's weird.
This is classic defensive technique. This is something which I think Magnus was best in the world at, like this whole coming generation. And we're watching a junior turn, this whole coming generation, generally pretty good at it. It's knowing when to pitch a pawn to set up a more active defense rather than just suffering. And at a4, because knight b7 in the end could find any script better than a5. But now c4 is undefended. Like knight actually has a job here to defend by the rook because of the pawn stack, so it's not going to be just attacked and lost on a5. There's a very, very good practical chance by Gukesh defensive play.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think his position looks quite. He's got like a bingo gambit kind of thing. He's got a pawn on the queen side. He's got very, very active pieces. Yeah, now this is very like undermined the knight on e3, which is defending c4. Yeah, like Gukesh's his a4 push. I think that was a very, very smart and practical decision here.
Yeah, and knight e4 was super important because if you don't have knight e4 as Black, White can plop the knight on b5 and take away some of your counterplay, your bank counterplay. But now if the knight goes to b5, Black can play bishop takes b5, knight takes e3, bishop takes b2, and fork White on c4 with a miserable a5 knight.
Yeah, I'm just on the board. He goes knight d1, defending knight on g3. But he has to take with the rook because he needs to keep bishop on b to defend it.
Oh, knight e4! You didn't need to do it. You did it.
Gukesh with the tactics.
And a4 and a2. Now he's got like the best banko he can get.
He blitzed that out. Oh, he had that one ready. He was like, play knight d1, Raunak. Play knight d1. He had that ready. Holy moly. And Raunak just a pawn down and just lost position. I mean, it's just really, really bad. Black extra pawn, protected passer, better bishop. I mean, White only hope is that maybe like some h6 in some play, but
yeah.
I think Gukesh covers.
Yeah. These endgames are
very, very nice.
So fun for Black. Whew.
Now queen a3 is like one trade rook, one trade queens. Your choice, boss. Your choice.
I'm good either way. I assure you.
Okay. My piece will be more active than yours. You try whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But of course, White did have to trick because Black was starting to set up when the queen takes c3 and then rook takes rook. So
b7 would be a saving move if Black played something casual like king to g7.
Right.
So
now
he's a good move
counterplay
here.
Yeah, this is still certainly gonna take some work for Black. Like it's not gonna be easy here whatsoever. But should make a chances. I feel like.
So if you go king f8, there's rook b8 check. Then you have to go bishop b8, bishop h3, and your life is really messy. So he uses the c pawn to stop White counterplay. You don't have time to take on e7 here. Maybe not time to take on d7, right? Like rook b7, he might play c3, not bishop to d4.
Exactly. I have a feeling with c4, he already saw like moves ahead. So like c3 takes, he's got check at the end, and c2. And yeah, he would be wing White's rook at the end here. So 1 minute for Raunak to try and find some chances to save this. But it looks good. Once you no longer you can't even get active with your rook, that's going to be a problem. So he's going to have to find a way to stop the pawn. Maybe bishop f1, try to get the bishop to d3. Maybe a good way to start bringing the king in. But yeah, this is going to be very difficult.
I mean, you could also still the rook b7 with the idea of just putting it on c7, not taking anything on the 7th rank. But he first positions the bishop, as you say, cover c2, covering e4, making room for the king to come across. And yeah, he played rook e7 to c7 right away, then maybe rook a1 for Black would have been troublesome. Now he tries to switch the rook to c7.
Yeah, Black Gukesh acts pawn. Now it's in position to activate the rook. Now it's 2 pawns. c3 pawn's very well defended. And he didn't take on e7. He was definitely afraid of bishop f3 there, which would have been very, very painful.
Oh yeah, like even here Black considers c2 bishop f3, right? Bishop
he plays 2.
Yeah.
Oh, what a move! Oh, bishop f3. So he's going for the meeting that he gives up the pass pawn. Oh, this is super difficult. e4 is going to hang. Only 20 seconds. Gukesh still has to.
White rook's going to take him to b2, right? Like he can cover the back rank mate for now on b1, but that means the bishop has to keep it square on c2. So against like rook c3 or he's got to rook b2, rook a2, he would have to go bishop b1 or something.
Rook b3.
Wow.
Yeah, he's moving the rook in game.
6-5-4 for Gukesh.
Oh, he takes. He goes for the rook in game. Okay, he's definitely still better. He's got the extra pawn, but White's bishop was so passive. Yeah, I think Bard didn't like the trigger for Black. And just keeping the bishop on was probably stronger. But only 5 seconds. So yeah, you gotta. What can you do? You gotta play fast.
But so he check. Can't let king go to e5. Great defensive technique.
I cannot allow that.
Again.
f6.
I'm going to play h4 for space, so maybe king h3. So you'd have f4 check ready. Keep that Black king back. And now maybe more time with the rook. No. He's like king f5.
Just in.
That was a very risky choice, e5.
And Gukesh picked up a second pawn. Now it's 2 pawns. Now this feels a great win chances for Black.
Rook d2 looked much stronger last move. Gotta say, that felt like almost like a mouse up.
Mouse up rook d2. That's hilarious.
You trap the king on h3, and then there's sort of much more room to.
I'm with you, David. Look, these kids, they still have lessons to learn in the endgame. Okay, I'm with you. calculate everything, but they don't have, you know, the hand just yet. Okay, D2 is running pawn. Black's king is on G2, but this is very middle with D2. Now Black's is setting down. I5. Ooh, keeping Black's king in.
The king for E6. That was sweet.
I feel like Raunak is defending this like absolute machine.
Now
how does Black's king get in?
Boxed in?
Oh man, what an endgame.
3 seconds each. I mean, you can still try for some kind of mouse type of situation or surprise move. King goes out. King's loose. He's got nowhere to hide from checks.
Yeah, that's the problem. Once on D2, king can hide.
Sparkling defense.
Yeah,
it's just a draw.
And that game, it looked so weak for He's still 2 pawns up. I feel like, you know, maybe there's something, but it's hard to do anything with each pawn. I can just ignore it. And exactly, just get checks. And yeah, at a certain point, actually, just straight line. Draw agreed. Gukesh realizes nothing he can do with the 2 pawns. No reason to waste time. And next game, that I gotta say, that'd be disappointing for Gukesh. Feels like that was 100% his game to win. Yeah. But he went into that run game. We immediately felt like, ooh, this is so easy. And Raunak just ended it like, wow, very, very clean.
I would say shocking hold by Raunak Sadhwani. Like, watching that position, you would not think that more than 1 out of 100 games, Black would avoid losing.
Absolutely. Yeah, very surprising that he held on there. Okay, and I like how they've switched it up. They've advanced to more sophisticated openings. They're not playing the C3. You know, there's a Italian game now. We got a classic Berlin. Bishop takes C6 exchange structure.
Very, very, very 21st century position. In fact, position of the 2020s of our decade. This variation. Caruana plays these positions. Magnus plays these positions. Wesley plays these positions. All the top players now play these positions here. Yeah, in 10 short minutes, we went from kids in 1890 to the top pros in 2023, so they're giving us a tour of chess history here.
Yeah, I feel like both these guys are going to be mixing up their openings quite a bit as they just try different things, look to surprise. I think they both kind of have that in their style. Now it's a very interesting position. White's given up one of their bishops, but they've got 2 knights and a nice dark square bishop in return, and these pieces they coordinate very well, especially when they attack the 5 square. So definitely quite a reasonable approach, I think, from Gukesh. Yeah. Knight H4, I love the other knight. Knight A5, Knight H4. Oh man, just breaking all the rules.
Do people still go on and on about knight onto the rim and that kind of stuff, or have we moved past it now?
It still comes up. You know, it still comes up. Sadly. But yeah, if the knights, if the knights got prospects, they're good. You know, this knight comes back to C4. This knight can jump to F5.
I feel like there's less of those sort of silly pseudo principles now. It's a lot more like +1, +1.3. You know, it's just like I think a lot of people are just much less stereotyped because they're working with computers, and so it's sort of whatever works. Yeah,
I think we're definitely moving away from a lot of the classic principles. It's still fun to say like all written games are drawn. That last one was drawn. It was drawn. Yeah. So sometimes there's some wisdom to these things. But of course, it's a game of exceptions. That's what makes it so interesting and complicated at the same time. It's like you have all these principles, you have the rules, you have a million situations where it's also quite reasonable to break the rules and try something different.
Yep. All right. Black covers the F5 square. It says,
or so he thought. But he cannot take that. He could take it. The problem is just takes out with the pawn. The bishop on E6 is still trapped. White wins back the piece, and Black's king which is wide open for the rest of the game. So
yeah, that's Black's best piece, that light squared bishop. Absolutely. So the fact that it's trapped and it has to trade itself for a knight, you don't have the bishop very weak light squares as well as the weak king. So
yeah.
The knight just sits right there.
Yeah, they're just gonna play a game of chicken with this knight. Just leave the knight for. I honestly love these kinds of positions where you just leave the piece there for as long because you don't want to go back. I mean, you're not some kind of chicken. You don't just retreat your knight. Oh, but he has to escape square. Wow, no shame from Gukesh. I don't care. I provoke the weakness.
On that king H1 move, I was thinking maybe queen D2 to threaten knight H6, knight I5, queen H6. But he's playing a higher level positional game here. He's not on that cheap mate threat.
Well, now he's managed to provoke Black into advancing his king, and bishop on E2 is suddenly weakened. It's no longer being on Bennett. Black pushed F5 here. So yeah, this is actually I think extremely double-edged. We might see like F4 at some point from White. But yeah, F5. I mean, that on H4 still doing a lot of work, putting a ton of pressure on G6.
Most exciting move would be knight G6. Just trading 2 knights for that light squared bishop, opening up the king a little bit, then playing F4. It's very, very speculative.
Yeah, but it's exactly the kind of thing to look for when you feel like your opponent has weakened their king side. You need to calculate something.
Yeah. And GF, Queen H5 is also like a very simple approach to get into those squares, but then Queen E8.
It does take once.
Covers it all.
Now, yeah, Queen H5, Queen E8, and probably White doesn't want the endgame with Black's king being pretty weak. I feel like you want to keep queens on the board. You want to just get F4 in at some point.
Yeah. Well, immediately. I mean, I think the follow-up he's going for is F4 here.
F4. So if Black takes, then how do you take back? Because you have a problem with the knight on H4.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe then you throw in Queen H5, Queen E8, trade queens, and then take back.
He goes Queen 2. Yeah, feels a little slow, but I think he just wants to get the rook into the game. Sometimes in Blitz, like, you just can't spend forever. Even if you know, like, you might have something strong, it's like, you just got to make moves.
Goes on F4. He can now play knight E5. That's why he can play himself this move. Because the big thing about, me on F4 White is you don't want Black to put all the pawns in dark squares open to the bishop. But this tactic, F4, knight F5, which won't come up, is an example of stuff going on non-stop. He's calculating crazy stuff all the time. It takes D4. And D4. The only thing to save the rook would be like the queen going to G5, but it leaves A8 hanging on the other light square. So
other rook is hanging as well. I wanted both rooks.
Yeah, well, it's Queen G5 instead of F6, and then you only have.
That's right, fair enough. Queen G5 played. Now C4. Wow, fighting on the queen side, but you get some light squares. So D5 square for the knights.
I think C4 is so the knight on E3 can potentially move without allowing bishop D5. I think it's a defensive. I don't know about necessity, but
It's kind of similar to their first game where Raunak was definitely a little bit weaker on the king side. Then he built a lot of space, a lot of activity, had the 2 bishops, but still a lot of weaknesses. And yeah, we can see White's king especially getting in trouble on light swords one day. Flags bishop ever finds itself on like the long diagonal.
Yep.
Happen.
Yeah, c4 stops bishop d5, but definitely bishop c8 to b7 is an option for black in a sort of eventual future.
You might see that at some point. Yeah, this is tricky. Gukesh a little bit up on the clock. About 20 seconds here. Let's figure out how to play this.
I really wanted to play knight f6 g4 for Raunak, which would have hung the e5 pawn in. So bishop f7 defends e5 with the rook. Might be possible.
And queen h5, looking for the endgame. Do you go for the endgame here, or do you keep pressure on the board?
I mean, it would allow us to finally play f4, which seems like such an important move. It gives up the factor of the black king being exposed. But the question is White's king so much better? That's a tough decision. I probably would just ready queen to play f4.
Going for the endgame. Yeah, I mean, that's always what they say against the kids. You want to go for the endgame. The problems, they're both kids. So can they both go for the endgame against each other? Is that a valid strategy?
Also, they're both just like so good. I think go for the endgame against kids is like sound advice against a kid rated 1800 or even 2000, 2100. They may have like really strong points and still some weaknesses. Once the kid you're talking about is rated 2700 VA, I don't think there's any advice left.
That's true. Yeah, it's a little bit of a night on the rim museum of chess strategy. Go for the endgame.
Yeah,
should be fine. Hey, shout out to Twitch chat. We see you guys. How's everyone doing? Oh wait, round down to 20 seconds. He just played king g8 and he doesn't like that. He had 20 seconds. Okay, what do you want from him? Right? He needs to make a move.
Got out with the queen on c2. I mean, d4 is what I was building for white, so he got out of the way.
Gukesh for sure wanted that. Now Gukesh building up bishop e6, and we're going to see an insane scramble once again. There's just too many pieces on the board for this not to just completely explode. Now bishop c8. Remember, we thought about this. Bishop comes to d7.
He needs to play because e5 is getting siege.
Well, d7.
So it's the knight to draw back.
Knight was back. That was a little weird, but he's covering f5 and defending e5, of course, as well.
Yep.
Now 20 seconds for both players.
I don't see any clearly good moves for either of them.
I would just be shuffling her back and forth. Yeah, king g1, don't flag. Jeez Louise, trying to lose the game. Yeah,
definitely flagging would not be optimal.
No, I don't think flagging would be good. H7. Oh man, they're both just trying to get moves off in time. A5, A4.
Preventing black from opening the A file. So now at least send the board. Oh, he falls into it finally.
Coming. Oh, he wins the exchange.
Yeah.
He's now winning, but he's only got 3 seconds. The position's completely like bishops. This could easily turn bad. Rook g8 coming.
Yeah. If he played rook g8, white had rook e7, that might go forward. And Gukesh flags.
Oh no, he flagged on f4. Oh no, he's completely winning too, but it's such a crazy position. Just didn't even move off in time.
Is this a scary start for Gukesh? Yet he is losing on time in 5-minute games a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say it's such a complicated position. It's a little bit different when like flying in a game where you have like one piece and you just move back and forth versus flying in a position like that. I mean, oh boy.
Raunak letting it sail, throwing 8 on the board.
Yeah, wow. Raunak's feeling it. He's good. He's up 2 points. He's happy.
Is he in some kind of weird opening prep as well? Like, is it some kind of like blitz opening he's prepared at some point?
You know, we've seen do this kind of thing. Former world champion Vladimir Kramnik, especially like online control. He's really gotten into a lot of these like funky English setups, but they're very dangerous. I mean, Black's king is already under like serious pressure. Knight f5. I mean, Gukesh lost some games, but he's still Gukesh. Like, he's still fighting back here. He's not going anywhere by a long shot. David, to answer your question, I mean, it's definitely a bad sign, but I would say it's still very, very early in the match, and once these players get warmed up, I think it's going to be very, very close in the end, regardless.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much to say. First of all, I also had a question about is it some kind of opening prep, but you said maybe he's just feeling it. I think it was he's just feeling it because that knight f5 move was so strong. He had specifically prepared before that interchange of h5 and f4. No, I think knight f5 is too strong a move, so I think he was just feeling excited a little bit and went for something juicy.
Yeah, but now look at this. I think it's not great for Raunak. We got opposite sides castling, but White's king just so much safer on the main side. And Black's structure is just so hard to play with all these pawns. And rook takes h4, the exchange second to g5. Oh man, honestly, it feels a little unnecessary. Not gonna lie, but we can feel confidence, right? I mean, what a sack.
Yeah, he's created quite a nice position. And although Gukesh has the bishop pair as well as the extra exchange, it's hard to use bishops and rooks in this position. He's really going to create a very, very favorable position right now.
A very practical sacrifice. I mean, he has a lot of moves. He's got knight f3, he's got rook to g1 coming.
Queen e8 is a big question.
Is aiming at the king. Yeah, queen e8 could be annoying hitting on h5. I mean, I feel like strategically this act is a ton of value because Black's bishop on c8 is just, it's not going to see the king side anytime soon. It's just kind of stuck on the queen side. Queen e8, nice find by Gukesh. Asking some questions. White's h5 pawn, mainly arguing the fit.
Yep.
Now g6. That's how.
Yep. Now king side's locked up. Right. And the h4 pawn is not foregone conclusion. Like Black can consider playing, queen side bishop f6, holding on to it. And it's hard to have a free hand the rest of the board when you have to deal with that past h pawn.
Right. I feel like Raunik's thinking a little bit like, why did I sack the exchange?
We
could have had all this with the rook. Who gave up my rook?
Yeah.
E5.
Okay. Well, I liked his position until I was queen 8, and then I changed my mind.
It takes. But this is going to let Black play f4 at some point, and then freeze like for bishop, and then Black is for sure doing fantastic. If this bishop gets out, White's going to lose all their pawns on the key side.
Yeah, and I said he created a nice favorable position. But what do knights hate most of all?
Wait, I know something.
Yeah. What's their like, nemesis? What's the thing that they have nightmares about themselves?
Rook pawns.
Yes, knights have bad dreams about past rook pawns. So I think on h3, it's like, no, the knights are not going to win this game.
Oh man. Well, it's still on Gukesh to win this. I mean, it's a very, very sharp position. And the problem is white has tons of flight, like c5 is hanging, e5 is hanging, so you have to be very precise here. Black, maybe f4, just invite the endgame with queen takes e5.
Yeah, f4, e4 both look good to me.
e4 also just opening up.
With the f4, the more obvious move to me, because you can also go bishop g4 to h5 to g6 at some point.
Or played. I feel he's not going to play queen e4 or something like that.
But then bishop 5, queen c6, and
yeah,
I mean,
just right.
Pretty weird, right? Your answer is right.
Yeah, no. No, f4 looks very, very strong. I think Gukesh is in control, but he needs to win. If he doesn't win this, I think he's going to start to really feel difficult, because I feel like in these matches it's always about momentum, especially if someone gets off to an early lead. The player just feels like they can't win a game. They're just like behind and they can't do anything. It's huge confidence. It's not good. Definitely confidence to win against a strong player. So
I can also imagine how it would feel for me to play against Raunak, because Raunak plays unbelievable defense, right? And he's very, very resilient and tricky as well. And sometimes he can win the positions he's losing instead of just drawing them. And that defense, that Bango endgame down past C pawn. I mean, what I think can happen is you just stop believing that you can beat the guy. Like, you just, like, how do you ever push this half edge and you sort of,
I just want it just feels unfair, frankly. It just feels unfair.
How many extra pieces do I need to win a game? I can't do it.
Yeah, but once we get that first win, I feel like we're going to see big shift in the momentum, because then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember. I'm Gukesh, the youngest player ever to beat him in Carlson. You remember that? Oh yeah. I think it's kind of a thing. It's like you feel like you're only as good as the last game, right? And right now, Gukesh's last game, he's probably not feeling great about it. That's why he win this one.
He shouldn't miss one, by the way, because I'm just realizing they're about to hit their first break of the match, right? Because they played just about 45 minutes out of the 90-minute 5-1. So they're probably going to have a short little break right after this game. It'd be great if you won a game when he gets into the break.
Absolutely. Especially if it's like you have chances. It's not like he's worse in every game and then converts. Like if you're winning the game, it's like you want to convert. It's very important. Knight c3, so Raunak being knight back, he's got a lot of squares to choose from this knight. He's looking at d5, b5, e4. So knight is working. Knight is working.
And again, I don't know. Gukesh spent a lot of time relatively on that rook e8 move and the current move. Like, I felt like last move maybe wanted to play rook c8 or e4 and came up with something fancier. Because now white is trying to prevent him from playing e4.
E5, look at this, the counter attack. Guys, it's just other tactics. Ready and loaded. Rook takes white, but black doesn't lose rook there from 97, 96.
Yeah, so he's fine. I think one left for Gukesh, which is relevant because he sort of went out of his time resource while trying to convert the positions. Right?
Yeah, again, the position is super complicated, super sharp, and yeah, if he's able to kind of close it. I think at a certain point, like you gotta go bishop g4. You gotta start taking pawns. Right now, he's fighting those, so we'll see what he does. But yeah, at a certain point, black has to start this game.
Yeah, if he goes e4, there's bishop g7, queen g7, knight f6 check. It's hard to get that knight out because white's going to play d6 e4 and then e4 e5. So instead, he has to cover the e5 square.
Yeah, I like rook e8 covering a7 check just in case. Bring the e1. And yeah, I feel like it's your time. Go bishop g4. I'd try bishop e6 maybe at some point, see if I can trade it off for on d5. But yeah, eventually black and rook g1 stopping rook g4. Or some bishop g4, sorry, and just kind of nice prophylactic move. And yeah, asking black, what are you going to do? How are you going to convert this? Both rooks passive. It's tough. It's tough.
Okay, my idea would be king h8. Never mind. I would play e4 and put my queen on g7 without allowing knight f6 check, because the knight on f3 will be hit by a pawn. But anyway, this move also, it's another move I'd thought of trying to stop knight f6 as well.
Yeah, but with tempo inviting me to grab on a7, which gave a lot of material, this decides not to e7. Interesting. Yeah. Like, it's keeping non-rook on.
Exactly. The queen wants to recapture on g7, right? So you can't play e4 when the rook on c8 is hanging. That's why I sort of gave on rook e6 myself.
Yeah, so e4 is in the background now. Queen f7. Wow. First thing, because he gets the exchange back. But is this going to be enough for white? Because black still has a very strong light sword bishop and h3 pawn.
Wow, rook e5 pawn.
Yeah, but he's got
h2.
E2 as well.
Gukesh has to call bishop ending here.
That's right.
Yeah. Push h2. Open the bishop f4.
Yeah, it gets e2. So, hold on. Actually, white ended the pawn up here. So,
yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, Raunak's escaping once again.
It feels that way at the moment. Now, king e2. And rook f3, rook f1.
You just on the d3 pawn. All right, never mind. No. I changed my mind. I'm flopping. Gukesh winning. Gukesh winning.
He's still somewhat better, but it's not clear if it's enough to win right now. It's close.
The trend just, obviously just picking up those 2 pawns. Now he gets to activate the king.
And he's a few seconds ahead. Raunak's playing with less than a second on clock to these moves.
Yeah, I mean, Raunak is, again, defended like absolute maniac. Now it's 2 pawns, and it's like, okay, black is a very strong control of the position as well. He's not with that h pawn anytime soon. Oh, looks like he might be able to get h win.
Yeah.
He wins the bishop. Now should be clean for Gukesh. He's got the extra piece, he's got the h pawn. It should be very, very simple. Get the rook behind the pawn.
Nice.
And this white without the bishop.
Pawn.
Oh!
No.
Oh, yeah, I had that one too. He's going to try to just convert rook and bishop against right. Okay, trade rooks, and now it's over. And hey, Raunak playing it out all the way to mate.
Yeah.
Forcing Gukesh to show that he win the game, and that's it. Gukesh accepts his first win. Huge score for Gukesh. So now it's going to be a 1-point lead going to the first break, and we can see he is stoic.
A lot to talk about in what we've just seen there. A lot to talk about. We're going to take a very short break as the players take a very short break. There's 40 minutes or so of 5+1 action left in the first time control when we come back in just a moment, everybody.
On the gridiron, success is measured in the conflict of athletic resilience and mental fortitude. The ability to outplay and outthink one's opponent is the difference between that sweet victory and crushing defeat. And on these 64 squares, much is the same. It's a battle of will, grit, and determination, minus a bone-crushing hit, of course. But what happens when the two cross paths? This.
2 seconds.
What?
Oh my god.
For the second year, some of the National Football League's biggest stars turn their attention from the field to the chessboard once again.
Oh my god.
Instead of in zone, it's in game. Instead of QB sex, it's queen sex. Instead of check downs, it's checkmates. All the metaphors you can handle.
Oh man.
He's about to be blitzed.
Kidoni Woozier is first champion.
And the winner, well, they can talk about it forever. Put the cleats and pads away and get ready to lead your 16 chessmen to glory. This is Blitz Champs 2. All the action live on twitch.tv/chess and youtube.com/chess on June 23rd.
Hi, chess parents, Fun Master Mike from ChessKid here. Are you still looking for summer camps for kids? Well, our friends at Magnus Chess Academy have got you covered. There's a different summer camp every week online. Just like our lessons on ChessKid, these camps can be educational, but they're also a lot of fun. They're going to teach you resilience and a lot of spatial reasoning and decision making, learning from losses, positive growth mindset, a whole bunch of other factors that are making them people as well as other chess players. Just click on the link to find out more about all our offerings, like ChessKid, Magnus Chess Academy, support the chess.com family.
And here you see Grandmaster Raunak Sadhwani currently ahead by 1 point in his second JSCC final after playing his final match as well as 2021 here. He missed in 2023 with a slight lead of 1 point against the top seed Gukesh after the first half of the 5-1. And Kustia, what do you think of the chances of the two players?
Fantastic match, David. It's been a fantastic match. So we saw Raunak get off to an early lead. Gukesh missing some winning positions there, but thank you guys that fourth game win. It wasn't clean. It was quite messy, but I think that might even be a good thing. Now has his confidence. He knows he can win some time scramble against Raunak. So I think we were going to get ourselves a very, very close match, as was predicted by the Oracle Smarter Chess. Looks like we're going to have a couple. We're going to have a second half now of the 5-1 portion. The game is just about to get underway.
Yeah, Raunak started off his semifinal match down 3 games, which was I think a very, very big surprise. So here he's down. Sorry, did I say Raunak or Gukesh? Gukesh started off his semifinal down 3 games. Now he's down 1. So it's a little bit less of a surprise the second time, I guess. We've already seen it once. We've seen him come back just fine. But the level of defense Raunak has been really terrifying to me personally.
Yeah, just fantastic defense. There's just no time on the clock. Just seconds. Seconds on the clock. He's not only finding reasonable moves, he's finding like strong moves. They're seeing tactics. Honestly, they're both playing amazing in the time scrambles. But Raunak in particular has been very, very good on the defensive side of things. And here we have game 5 of the match. Raunak 1 point ahead, Gukesh with white pieces. And I think it's our first repeat opening. Gukesh going for this kind of brutal exchange structure once again.
Yep, absolutely right. I was thinking the same thing. That said, Raunak played great in this game. I mean, in the game 2 games ago, right, they had this position. I didn't personally see any crack in his play that would encourage me to say, hey, go back to this thing. But of course, Gukesh saw something there that I didn't see, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, it's a little bit different now. He just went D4. He's opening up the position. A little counterintuitive since you're playing against the 2 bishops. But on the other hand, when black takes and then white recaptures, you do get this kind of long-term thing where, I'm sorry, hold on. White's not going to recapture. I'm sorry. Normally, white recapture, there's just E5 Dave and just wins the piece. Recapture may be fine too, with the nice, but E5.
Sure. That would surprising detail. So that makes it feel like it's almost the only move. Yeah, you see Raunak going for a deep think. So there was obviously an adjustment he was making there. And some other things he was checking.
Where's E5 square? It makes sense. Now I like C3. Logical move here for white. Okay, goes queen to E2. Maybe anything with D1 at some point.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of interesting moves possible, not necessarily good, but from Black's perspective, subject to allow for. Like, there's been a general trade-off on E5, followed by F4, F5, no, just rushing upon up the board. There's also a weird line with D4-5, so I understand now the time Raunak spent. Gukesh sends the bishop over H4. Very, very limited scope. You have to really press E5 square a lot.
Yeah, interesting move, kind of move by Gukesh, like promotes F6, means bishop to H4. Probably going to reposition the bishop to G3 at some point to get Black's own dark squared bishop. And just for D1, just kind of building up. Like, it's going to be a quiet game, and I expect the pieces will be traded until there's like 30 seconds left, and we're just going to get complete mayhem.
Okay. Fair prediction.
Yeah, that's my Smarter Chess prediction for this game.
Yeah, but what do you think overall of the Smart Chess prediction? Like, do you think that there's a favorite in this match? And how much? Like, would you be surprised to see your underdog win?
No, I don't think there's a particular favorite. I think both players are just monsters, and either one of them can win as long as they have a better day. I think it really just depends on who has the better day, who's in better shape, who sees more tactics, who's a little bit looser and faster than us. I think that's the player. I think it just comes down to like 1 or 2. Well, it could come down to just one sequence in one bullet game that decides the next junior SpeedChess champion. So I feel like sometimes these things, not really about like who's the favorite or who's the more like that. It's really about who happens to be a little luckier at the right moment.
Yeah. Yeah, if it is truly that closely matched. And given that they won their semifinal by similar margins, it does feel like it could be that evenly matched. I think speak for most people in the world, Kostya, when I say I would want to somehow be clever and smart chess. When I see someone else make predictions, I always want to have like a better prediction than them. You might be one of the few people that doesn't fall into that category, but most people love for someone else to be a little bit wrong and for you to be a little bit more right than them. And so I find it mildly infuriating in general that the smart chess predictions tend to be accurate.
Okay, hold on. What's going on here? This is something terrible has happened. For
Bishop on e3 hanging.
I think like F3, yeah, without fully anticipating the b takes d4. Now Black's next this one. He can recapture Bishop, then Queen is hanging. Queen drops back to F2. Now C5. Thank you for the monster. Takes h91.
He's trying to limit that bishop, the lightward bishop, which is well intentioned. That's a dangerous bishop. So H3, and he played F3, and he was pretty ready for F5 or G4 shenanigans, and unfortunately missed a tactical detail, which is something that both of these players rarely do, and Raunak spotted it.
Yes, now Raunak just a clear pawn up, but it'll be tough. These positions are never easy, right? Black's is going to be a little bit exposed. White's knights are always going to be jumping around knight G4, knight G3, targeting Black's queen.
We'll see if Gukesh is as resilient and tricky in defense as Raunak. I would suspect he won't be quite. That's something that Raunak has, made it even slightly better level as a practice skill.
Yeah, possible line like bishop takes a2 to grab this pawn, and then knight G3, queen F7.
Very, very risky. Knight F5.
Yeah,
exactly. H6 and D6.
Yeah, 2 pawns at what cost? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, knight 2. Wow, Raunak down 2 minutes on the clock here. He's not used to the burden of having a nice position. Tries to convert in this match. Like you said, this is going to be Gukesh's turn to kind of very, very difficult position. But thankfully for him, he has a lot of time on the clock.
Yeah, and suddenly he's even speeding up, right? Like he entered Queen F7, which he thought about for a minute, right? And he answered with F4, basically instantaneously hammering that responsibility. Right? You need to really think about moves when you have the advantage. Isn't it sad? All right.
Knight G4. Don't blunder. Knight takes H6. He's going to win the queen.
No, he's not going to blunder that. So.
I know. I was talking to the chat. Don't blunder.
Even chat's not going to blunder it. Like the guy just like Knight G4 looking straight at H6.
Okay, I was telling myself not to blunder. I take H6. All right, now he comes back to E3. And these knights are checking around. Now he's looking at that F5 square.
He's really telling him to take A2 though. He's really selling it.
He's like, you got to take something. Takes F4, but that invites more knights into the game.
Yeah, well, I guess F1, right? So.
Takes F4.
It was chaotic. Like Knight D5, Queen 4, Knight F6. Because you don't want the black locked away from the king side. That's really dangerous for black.
It goes this way. Keeping the rook on the d-file. Yeah, he takes F6 is a huge problem for black. No, it's looking very good for Gukesh. I mean, he's the pawn down, got the initiative. Oh, even ball shot way up.
Well, yeah,
takes on F6.
He threatened F6 and black didn't find a way to stop it.
Well, he found a way not to lose the exchange, but Queen H4, now this one is as well. Oh, Queen H4, super strong.
11 seconds left and it has fallen apart quickly. And if this were your first time watching a chess match, you would think having good positions is really bad in chess.
That was it. Raunak designs really flag. I didn't see the end, but the position was with that lots of nodes. So Gukesh, he turns down around, evens up the match. 2.5 to half each. Ask Raunak how he liked it not to win. Winning position.
Yeah, pretty frustrating, right?
Yeah.
Pretty frustrating.
We've got ourselves a full-blown match here.
Yeah. Raunak goes back to C4.
So I feel like Raunak's not going to be particularly phased. He's played a couple of matches before. I think there's always going to be swings. You got to keep your energy up. There's still going to be a 3-minute portion, 1-minute portion. A lot of chess left to be played.
Yeah, we're going to get a technical game on it. I think we're going to see Knight C3, Knight D4.
Yeah, it's probably the first time we're seeing like a couple of these trades.
Really again.
Okay, all right, we got some trade.
Yeah,
we might even get more trades here. We might get a heavy piece endgame. Queens and rooks and pawns.
This is why we should have old people commentating on a young people's game. I'm like sitting here rooting for an endgame. Goes, yeah. What? What? Get rid of this guy. What's he doing here? Shut up and go home, old guy. Queen C2 maybe finally forcing that trade. Yeah. No, Queen C3 Bishop H7 from risking out.
Come on, these kids, they've been working with like Soviet coaches right for a while. These kids, they get visited by people like Gelfand, Kramnik. They come in, they tell them how to play bullet. Actually, I don't know if we mentioned this fact on the show, David. But it's well known about Gukesh. He didn't use ends right until he was a very, very strong player at the request of his coach.
Yeah,
and we can see how that's turned out for him. His analytical skills, his calculation, it's pretty good. It's pretty strong.
When I think of Gukesh, it's always hard for me to evaluate players over a certain level, which is around 2700. I start to really struggle to say like strengths and their weaknesses because it starts to just all seem strong. But when I think of Gukesh, the first strength that I think of is calculation. Like I think, oh my goodness, Haskell game, the depth which he's calculating to me is just wow.
Absolutely.
I kind of back in mind.
Now, what's he doing here? He just pitched this pawn C4, so on Knight C4, he wants Knight D2, right?
Yeah.
Now, Bishop C4, I assume he wants something
like Knight G3. Knight G3, Queen C3.
Yeah, he was not impressed. So Knight G3, Queen C3, getting out of the attack by hitting the mate. There's no Knight to check. And Black just have to draw back right to defend the pawn.
Wow.
But then where did your pawn go? Now it's just move your pawn up. Let's see if and Bishop C4 played. Raunak, calling the bluff. Yeah. I'm convinced. I mean, all options that I have is he's going to go Bishop takes C4, Bishop takes C4, and then resign the game. That's probably not what I want.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak there. That's probably not what you want. So it takes. And then Bishop F4, Gukesh admitting his mistake. You're right. I didn't have anything. Sorry.
Yeah.
I can't get one past pawn.
He could have had technically him, but now he's got a position where he's down an outside pass pawn, papers of a pawn, and for bringing bishop here. Ugh.
Yeah. This is now feels like a technically winning position for all you get this A pawn.
Let's say this, Kostya. Like, if I ever had decisions like I would be in a hurry to trade off the dark square bishop with my knight. That's why it was all my brain could think was that this technical position was made, because if you ever give your opponent an answer, they should be too. I feel like you're so forced. And of course, Gukesh just understands it at eye level. Like he just knows that you allow it. Obviously, you hang the pawns with that thing, but doesn't have that same fear that I have about a certain type of position.
Yeah. Okay. Now we watch bishop. How did that work out for him? Not great in this game.
Maybe a little fear could have been helpful.
A little fear of the bishop here might have been apropos. Now he gets to try the bishop, but that's just game. Oof. What a tactic. Oh man.
Oh god,
boy.
he thought that Raunak hung that a pawn. That was not realistic. That was not realistic to think Raunak just hung the a pawn.
Oh man. Oh, he just fell for that hook line center.
Yeah.
Oof. Wow. And then the back ring. Man, that happened so fast. We had everything covered.
Yeah. It happened so fast. I thought maybe Coach was showing like analysis. It took a moment to realize like Gukesh is just playing straight down, like mate on the board.
Oh man, bishop takes e6.
Chat giving us the advice. You can call it hook line and stinker. it was a bit of a blunder there.
That's good. That's what I should have said. Thank you. That was a blunder of mine. All right,
it's fine. We can all pick up some tricks today on the chessboard and on the mic. We've got opposite castle kings again. Yes.
Yeah. So again with the Berlin, but this time last castle queenside has Raunak in these positions. Going into just a very, very sharp position. And now bishop h5. Ooh, this could get very double-edged very quickly. And then queen e3, unpinning, but also I feel like Black really wants to go g5 in this position. So 100% has to kind of fight against that.
Yeah. And you can see the subtext what's going on in this class is last game, Raunak played great with kingside castling and f6, a pristine game, and Gukesh made a slip, and Raunak got a good position and then lost. So this time Raunak's like, I gotta switch it up. I can't get such a good position. I can't play straight into this position I knew so well and play perfectly. Let me try and get maybe a bad position before it's too late. Put some pressure on Gukesh, and then get them back.
Exactly. But yeah, Raunak, he's back to the 1-point lead. Definitely feeling good because he was he gave back 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, same again. I think it go any 3 ways as most of the games have been. All right, now we got the structure we almost talked about previously, where it's like in the long run, White has 4 pawns against 3 on the king side, and can make a pass pawn in the long run, not anytime soon, but f4, e5. But for Black with the doubled c pawns, this 4 versus 3 actually pretty effective in the endgame and very, very easy to block for White. So White's kind of long-term strategy here is the old man approach: trade off all the pieces, get into a king and pawn endgame, and then you win because you effectively have an extra pawn in the position.
Yeah, we just got a very, very fancy a3 move. Like that's a classical chess in a blitz match. One observation I would make here is that to me the E and D files are so volatile, open or half open, that it's not really a throw your pawns, pawn storm, clashing pawn storm kind of position. I think there's going to be some fighting for central squares like you see in side castling.
Knight c4, bishops, and then b4. Oh, knight b6. What a counter!
Never run out of ideas.
C4. Oh, man, very interesting. But knight e5. Oh, he's got knight c6. You didn't take on c6.
That would change the character of the game.
You got to pop on c6 here.
Oh, goes yeah. I was thinking knight c6, e6, queen d3. Yeah, exactly. Not to bring the second knight.
There's let's go back quickly because we've got time. Let's just see.
You want to see if we can figure out who's good or bad?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I think this was it. Knight c6 takes like queen e2, for example. Oh man, that would be devastating.
The king's a half down to d7, and then maybe rook a1 right there.
Yeah, that continues. It's certainly not easy for White, but we can see king is running around.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the game here. So bishop d6, rook d1 played, rook h8, and queen f3. Oh boy, and not liking a lot. It's such a sharp position. I'm imagining White might be able to take on c6 and like all these positions and just avoid it. Oh, e5. He finds that one though, hitting e7.
In general, White has always been tending to answer. Well, I don't know in general to it, but Black always had this move queen e5 for White to watch out for. Sometimes the answer was knight back to f3, queen on f3 blocks that, but now with e5 the rook will stop queen 5.
Man, how do you see like the magician's involved? I don't know if you can say this. Look at this. Dude, e7 is hanging, the bishop is obviously hanging. You got e6 coming to just totally make the king right. c6.
Yeah. At
this point, if he doesn't stack on c6, I mean, it's time.
Yeah. If he takes on d6, Black can take twice on e1 and then take on d4.
Ooh.
It's not, and then can you play knight c6 at the end there?
This could be good, yeah, as long as maybe it takes here, exactly. It's very, very good for White because the queen is going to be super strong against Black's weak king. He does take on d6. Oh, we just got his line. All right, so Gukesh knows. Knight c6 on the board. Rook takes d6. Now knight takes d4. So we got queen versus 2 rooks.
Obviously, bishops still very messy. If knight c4, then queen c3, bishop f7. Another angle.
Knight a4, yeah, covering bishop c3. Bishop c3 very much stable, especially because knight takes, queen takes would be picking up rook to the check.
Yeah.
This still feels extremely nice for White because, for the queen, it's often better in the middle game against the 2 rooks.
No, Coast.
You're saying I haven't heard that?
2 rooks are better. 2 rooks are better.
No, it's not true, David. In the middle game, the queen can fight, especially when the king is open, of course.
I know that I won't discuss yet. We've been arguing about this for a long time.
Wisdom is changing. Wisdom is changing. Everyone can see Magnus's win over Geary. Geary just picks up 2 rooks for his queen and then just loses immediately. Just walks into lost position.
Or win over Nepo. Or Nepo traded 2 rooks for a queen.
In the endgame.
And then regretted it.
In the endgame.
Well, often when you trade 2 rooks for a queen, it tends to move the game a lot closer to the endgame.
That's what I'm saying. This is still a middle game. There's pieces on the board, and
if they trade on b2, then the material is very similar to the Magnus versus Nepo. Anyway, we'll argue offline later, everybody. For now, let's just remember that 2 rooks are better than a queen, and let's watch the action.
Yeah, but let's watch how Gukesh wins the game. But his queen against the 2 rooks.
Okay, so the bishop on b2 can't really be repositioned. You want to play c4 here if you could, because you want to chip away at Black's king. The factor that's most exciting for White is Black king position. So queen d8 to g7, sacking your bishop. You can also consider looking for a way in. he just makes room to keep the bishop d4. So that
If we're
and he
hitting
hits the
rook
rook.
f1.
So there's
Yeah.
no knight b2.
I like the solution. I mean, if bishop gets to d4 and is super solid, like on e3,
Yeah.
and he just goes back, that's a great sign for white's king. But of course, it won't be easy to break through. I mean, black is now. It looks like Raunak has switched strategies. He was first playing for counterplay. Now it looks like he's trying to build a fortress there.
The knight on a4 is pretty bad. White definitely has some juice.
Bishop f7, hitting queen, bishop g6, draw, draw.
Not a ton of good scores for this queen.
He finds a route. Queen d2, queen comes to f4.
Okay. So now if the knight moves, so like b6 or b2, for example, the bishop can't take it. You can go queen f4, unpin the bishop, then knight c4 defends the rook, and then bishop c5 again, win for white. That's why he moved the rook on e7. Okay.
30 seconds for Raunak. He's got no time to defend this. He's doing his best, but rook e7, like white just has total control, but still c2 is hanging.
They each need to improve their knight. That's the key to the position for both players.
Yeah, both knights here kind of not doing much. Okay, queen e3 takes on c2.
If queen e6, king b7. Yeah, the
queen
knights,
maybe-
the knights are just...
I like queen e6.
Yeah,
Oh, bishop e3, getting ready to cut up with bishop f4. 3 seconds, Raunak. Ooh,
he doesn't
very
stop
tough.
before that.
Oh, now the knight comes in.
Oh!
Turning on Super Saiyan mode. He's not
Yeah, the
playing anymore.
knights! They're both coming, and now anything could happen.
heard
Anything
you.
happens.
They heard you. Look at this. Ace the h7 pawn. I feel like that's going to be important. Certain point, white can draw around h1. Playing for the 2 weaknesses.
No, no, no.
Back.
It's not
Oh, Raunak flags. Wow.
Two rooks are better. You guys right here. On to the next game. Now that we've learned so much about rooks, the match is now tied 3.5, 3.5. As close as can be. The match timer, we should take a look at every now and then. 15 minutes left in the 5-1 portion. So at least 2 games, and probably only 2 games left in the 5-1.
And yeah, Raunak definitely looking a little disappointed there. That's his first flag of the match. But there's just a lot of ton of fight. I mean, it's not like it was time to time just yet. But Gukesh, he's looking very, very motivated right now. And
I think Raunak won that game, right?
Wait, no, I thought Raunak flagged. Did I get that wrong?
I thought Gukesh flagged.
No, but their score is even now.
Is he not?
Yeah, Gukesh got
Raunak
a queen.
flagged. Okay.
Yeah. Confirmed. No, they got an even match now.
Okay.
And yeah, Raunak's back to his English.
Last time they had this opening, white managed to play d for d5. Now black managed to play d5, d4.
Yeah, structure change. Actually, this is very interesting. But Raunak again going at the king side. Yeah, last game he went like bishop c6 at some point, and then f4. And just completely went after black's king side. I wonder if he's going to do something somewhere here. Yeah, he takes and bishop a3.
Ooh, a little more Nintendo style.
Yeah, absolutely, just classic. You leave your opponent with a bishop that can't defend the dark squares, and then you attack the dark squares.
Yeah.
Simple and straightforward. And Gukesh just gives the pawn.
I love it.
Honestly, very quickly. For 5-minute game. But I guess he had no ways to defend it anyway. Now, I mean,
Technically, he had a way to defend it with queen b6, which was super awkward.
yeah.
I love seeing just the, here's the pawn, let's get everything active.
I love it. He just gets his rook, takes on Passant's, bishop f5, queen a5. I mean, these 2 bishops are working. David, these 2 bishops are working. He's got e4 in the position. Oh, man.
Yeah. What
Not
he doesn't
good
want
play.
really would be for him to play e4 and white to play d4, right?
Yeah.
So I guess the big question is if he goes rook d8 and white doubles knight, would he be satisfied to regain the pawn on d3 with a little pick and take on c5 at the end?
Yeah, Rick did. I mean, looks like a very obvious move, right? Just putting pressure here. And then threatening, I said, to take twice and then pick up this guy. Maybe, I don't know, I feel black should be playing for more. It's like white's
More
king's
than
so open on queen's side,
Yeah.
Rook d8 on the board.
Yeah. So the knight, I think, has to go to e2 because knight f3, e4 is like, maybe I'm missing something, but it looks like an obvious blunder. So knight e2, but white's thinking a bit. I mean, playing king a1's not going to help you, so I developed the knight.
Yeah, knight e2 feels like you just got to get the pieces out. So yeah, I think e4, I would love to play, but as you had mentioned, then if white can respond with d4, it keeps some defense in the position, not so easy to break through. So Gukesh does take on d3, take the bishop on c5.
Exactly
And,
the position I was wondering about.
Queen e4, yeah, immediately just covering the e4 square. He just didn't want to allow black to push e4. Gives up the f2 one, but yeah, Raunak is doing the right thing, just trying to cover as many light as possible. Not if I can open up bishop with e4, it's going to be very, very dangerous for white.
It's feeling really good for black host. I think that Gukesh probably evaluated correctly in going for rook d8 and this apparent simplification, because the heavy ending is probably winning with the king not having a b or c pawn to lock the second rank. And meanwhile, e4 is so devastating that he can ignore the c6 pawn, the f5 pawn. He can just do anything to try and open it up, and he counts on the white queen just being stuck.
Yeah, queens are not good blockaders. Okay, here he just takes on f5, goes for the endgame. Maybe could be more ambitious. It seems pretty weak, but it is
Now I feel like it's within range of the Sadhwani unreasonable defense system.
Yeah, it's the magic hold. We'll see. I mean, it looks like white had a lot of blocking chances, but also had a lot of weaknesses. Rook can come down, hit the a pawn, hit the knight, g4 at some points. The c5 move, yeah, the engine not looking yet, possibly because it's a target fight for black's bishop here. Bishop f8.
I was definitely expecting rook d1, but maybe he had some hesitation about black playing g4.
G4 is definitely a thing that's going to happen. F4 allows it. If black win the h5 pawn, get 2 masters on the king side, it would just be game over. So yeah, white, I think under no circumstances can lose this h pawn. It's awkward for black. Rook on f5, bishop on g7. Look what passive. Gukesh is going to have to find a way to activate these pieces.
Yeah.
Bishop f8 play b4, expected, defending the pawn.
Okay, pretty difficult. I want to give him an acronym, yeah. I want to call it SUDS, a Sadhwani unreasonable defense system. So you can be like, Captain, activate SUDS.
That's good. I like suds.
Yeah, you just add a name and then just switch it on. Okay, that one or two points, but not enough.
Shout out to Christian in the chat who said suds, which I didn't understand at first. Now I get it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, rook f7. I like the switch back. Now getting maybe rook b7, rook d7. David, what do you think about thinking if the rooks come off the board?
You draw.
Easy draw, but just kind of blocks everything. Yeah, king.
Unless black plays king 5 to c4. But let's say white gets to play king e4. head drawn.
As you're saying, probably depends as usual.
Well, yeah, I didn't just give a vague depends. It was based on one very specific factor. And a lot of games are decided whether or not, the opponent's king just immediately walks into position or not.
Now king f5, activating the king.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
king
very, very
f4,
bad news for white.
a3. No, it's looking huge for Gukesh, especially if he gets e4 at some point. Maybe he could even play right now and off the rook. Chooses not to, but yeah, once this bishop opens up, then the knight is going to start facing some real problems.
This is what was happening, Coach. Like, positionally, it was like rook a3, and white's position completely fallen apart. But rook f1 check, taking the bishop on f8, and white's position may have fallen apart, but it was an extra minor piece.
Rook f1 right now, bishop e7, bring the bishop, bishop g5. Yeah, looks just totally waiting for black. Now he's controlling the e4 square. You can push e4 at will, open up all his pieces. This is
I remember a really ugly move, king g5 goes to.
Ooh, greedy to keep that pawn.
It was really bad.
Slide
Slide
over.
into like the line of the knight and the rook, all the tactics. He does it too.
Gukesh does it, yeah. No, it looks very strong.
Because if white plays h1, then okay, king g5 was fine. White plays rook h1.
Yeah, and then black can continue g3 and rook f2, and yeah, just keep making progress. Incredible progress. No, I think Raunik's really going to need. This is going to be pretty ridiculous, even for the studs.
Yeah, I think he forgot to turn it on this game. Like c5 didn't seem like his normal defense.
Or is it just not critical yet for him? Is he just like, eh?
Still waiting. Maybe it needs to be under a minute as well.
Right.
Still early time.
F6.
This was the most time they ever had on the clock when going into endgame.
Yeah. In the meantime,
2.5 minutes.
Gukesh has deactivated his Gukesh automatic technique mode, aka the GAT that system. He's well on his way to converting. Ooh, look at this tactics, leaving the e1 hanging because of rook e6 with the pins of king d3.
Yeah. It also made the kind of position where you just go h5, h4, h3. And
But
you
on the pawn, right?
counter
On the pawn
tactics.
now, I mean, these two pawns are just massive.
Yeah.
It should be pretty straightforward here for black, as long as he just doesn't allow, some b5, some counterplay, but he should win. I mean, these two pawns are strong, black's pieces are good.
e4. G pawn is hanging. The G pawn is
H-pawn.
important.
Yeah, g pawn is way more important than this rook.
What's the G pawn?
Fantastic exchange. It's not even a sacrifice. It's just like, okay, if you take, you lose. That's what happens. It's a petite combination.
Very good. Combinaison, if you want to fully French it. Cuts the knight off from basically the entire universe that the h5 pawn is in, with bishop 6 that knight. May as well be in a different reality. And here comes the h pawn.
Here he comes.
Looking strong.
White
Yeah,
has
white goes
pawns as
c6,
well.
c7. Black always has rook 3 check at the end, right when you're celebrating.
I don't think he's celebrating. I think he knows. He knows he's losing the race here. Just the classic pawn race. But you only have to win by one tempo. Okay, it's still not easy.
b5, rook d5. Rook d5.
Rook d5, yeah, last
H1,
chance.
I
Just
guess.
promote, right?
Yeah, I guess.
That'd be
It's not that complicated.
That's it. Raunak resigns, giving Gukesh the win. And I think that's Gukesh's first lead in the match. 1 point for Gukesh, 4.5, 3.5. And how are we doing on the time? Looks like this is most likely going to be the last game in the 5-minute portion.
Yeah, barring one of them hanging their queen in the first moves, which they don't seem prone to.
Yeah. Which even if they did, they would then be within their rights to just run their timeout and just end the 5-minute portion.
Yeah, if they're upset, but I mean, often you'd be like, you want that extra game. Certainly, like if you were the one who were behind the match at that point, you might want to force another one in. But Gukesh has definitely come back from the early deficit. He's hammering away at the Berlin here. He's happy with what he's getting there, and he's got a 1 point lead.
Yeah, Raunak is going to need to win this game to equalize the score going into the 3-minute portion. And it got to be disappointing for him. I mean, the momentum 100% on Gukesh's side now. He lost 2 of the first 3 games. And since then, of course, he's scored several wins to now take a 1 point lead. So Raunak is going to have to adjust something. He can't just rely on the defensive skills anymore.
Wow. The depth of this position definitely beyond me. Playing very interesting moves that I can't assess here. The A pawn running looked really strong, but C4 was a huge surprise from white, to me at least. Right. So, yeah, very, very, very rich positions.
Big move. But right now he's starting C5. Of course, he couldn't do that last move because the black hit the knight with A4. But C5 definitely a huge threat, and Raunak stops with his own C5 push, inviting D5, which will then allow him to drop the bishop back to F7.
Yeah, I mean, D5 also seems like potentially an accomplishment for white. Okay, now we got like H3, bishop H5, and then the big question. Can white ever go G4?
Yeah, I would definitely expect H3, maybe knight F1 now, especially after the last move rook to E1, then followed by knight G3, and going after these kingside light squares.
Yeah.
For rook E8, I think Raunak is not panicking yet. Knight F1.
Maybe the knight should go to
Actually,
E3 instead of G3 because of the bishop on H4.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Gukesh is a very classical approach. He's just finding like normal maneuvers, improving his pieces. And yeah, he goes for a lot of the same plans, like bringing the knight to F5. Now he's going to start maybe pushing on the king side,
I think maybe he'll play knight d2 next. I like that he just rushed the knight to f5